Hello, everyone. It's Thursday, and I'm sorry I couldn't be with you all yesterday. It just kind of caught up with me a bit, and I needed to take a break. Yeah, I would say that today has been my hardest day through this process. I had quite a meltdown this morning, and I think I've been so busy. I've been talking about be careful of keeping yourself so busy that you're not dealing with the stuff. So I think that I was doing that to myself, being very busy with work and doing lots of videos and doing lots of stuff, and I wasn't just sitting still with myself. So there's been like a lot of fear building in me, and I just wanted to talk a bit about that because I'm talking about everyone else, and I think I haven't been honest about the state I've been in. So it kind of got triggered when my husband said he's going to go to the shops today. He's going to here we have to get food, so he was going to go shopping, and I just felt myself going into complete blind panic about him going out and then coming home and the risk of him catching something, and it all just kind of overwhelmed me. So I think I got overwhelmed because I'm really nervous about my health when it comes to this particular illness. I've had terrible lungs my whole life. I've had terrible asthma since I was little. And anyone who's ever been in a position of not being able to breathe with any kind of lung situation or asthma knows the absolute terror it is of having an attack and not being able to take a deep breath. And knowing how this illness is affecting the lung area has been something I've been very conscious about and very aware of. So found out 2 years ago that it's not actually asthma that I have. It's some very strange condition, which is a deficiency of some enzyme. It's called alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, which is untreatable and there is no cure. And it's a genetic condition, which means I've got a lack of protein in my blood that serves to kind of heal my lung and my liver if anything ever happens to it. So it's a condition which means that I cannot be around any smoke, any air pollution. I cannot drink alcohol. I can't have any of this in my life because of how it affects my lungs. So it's I've been told it's quite a rare condition. There's only about 100,000 people with this condition in the States, and in Europe I don't know what the South African stats are. So the problem with this condition is that it makes my lungs incredibly weak. And when I get sick and if I'm around smoke, it means my lungs don't repair the way that a normal lung would. So you can imagine I've been completely freaked out about the thought of having this coronavirus hit. But I kind of got so afraid of it that I just became afraid of my own shadow. And it all kind of came out this morning. So I had a chat with my husband, and I was like, you can't go to the shops and you please can't go out because this is going to, you're going to bring it home and then I'm going to get sick and I'm terrified of getting sick. And so we had like a whole long talk. So the thing I love about my husband is he's very practical and he's very fact-based, logical, reasonable. For those of you who know my communication systems, he's the analyzer. So he just kind of brought me back down to earth, and he was like, yes, this is a really scary condition, but more than 80% of people who get this recover from it, and the 20% that are in a really terrible state and in a really terrible condition actually have pre-existing conditions underlying that is causing them to end up in ICU. And we are watching the news, and of course we are all seeing the worst case scenario in the news, because that's the stories, is the death rate, but related to the state of the person when they caught the virus. So he was really great at just talking me off the ledge a bit, and he said, what do you think is going to happen when lockdown is over? We're not all going to stay in our houses. Everybody's going to go back out. We're all going to get back into society. The kids are going to go back to school. It's not like we can hide in our homes forever away from this thing. And I've been really looking at what the kind of estimations are of how long this illness is going to stay with us, and how long lockdown is going to last. And, people reckon this coronavirus is going to be with us for at least another 2 years. A good to 60 to 80% of the planet is going to catch this thing. So lockdown may be ending next week, but it looks like lockdown is going to be happening in cycles. So, it may end, and maybe within another month or two, if there's a resurgence of it, we're going to go into another lockdown period and another lockdown period over about a year. So the bottom line is that I think we all have to be very careful of not hiding and giving this thing that much power that it allows us to just be terrified of everything all the time. And I got there this morning. So, there's a whole lot of terrible illnesses that are constantly out there. There's a whole lot of terrible stuff that's always out there, that could infect us. And I know that there's this real spotlight being put on corona, and because of how it's just raging through the world at the moment. But I think we also have to take a step back. I needed to take a step back today and just kind of take myself in hand and just address my absolute terror and fear about this thing. So I think after a long talk with my husband, I got to the point of, if I'm going to catch it, I'm going to catch it. If I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get sick. There's nothing I can do. I will ride that wave when it happens. There is a lot of ways that people are really recovering and being treated for this. It's not that every single person ends up on a ventilator in the hospital. I have to trust that I've had a lot of really terrible stuff and bronchitis and lung stuff in my life that's never been serious enough really for me to have to be hospitalized. So I've also got to trust in my body's own strength and my own immunity that I work really hard to maintain. So I think that the illness is there, but I think that the real illness that's happening at the moment is fear. And we've got to be really awake to not let it take control the way that it did with me today. And fear is a very normal emotion when there's a genuine threat. But I think we don't know what's real and what's not with this illness. I don't think we know what to trust about. How do we catch it? How long is it? Who affects us? What is the real infection rate in South Africa? How many people really are coming down with this thing? Is the testing accurate? I mean, we can drive ourselves nuts with looking at the stats. But at the end of the day, this illness is in our society and it's going to be here for a while. And it's something we can't keep, hiding from in the hopes that it'll go away if we all stay locked down in our houses. So I've known a few people who've had corona. A few of my clients have had it. And it's been interesting speaking to them about their experience. And for most people, it's a 2-week experience. And it's all the symptoms that But for a lot of people, it's just that exhausting flu-like symptom, complete exhaustion, cannot lift your arm, total lethargy, high fever, terrible headache, tight chest, sore throat. One of my clients completely lost his sense of taste and his sense of smell, and has been told that it's going to be more than a month before his senses return, which I thought, wow, that's quite interesting. So yeah, the symptoms are bad, but a lot of people are riding this out at home like it would be a bad flu. So I think it's just getting into putting it into context. It's not all ending up on a ventilator in a hospital situation. So yeah, I've had to really breathe through my day today and surrender to what will be, because I don't have any control. None of us do. And if it arrives, it arrives and I'll face it. And if it doesn't, it doesn't and I'll face it, But I can't keep bringing this fear in my body about the terror of catching this thing because of the state of my lungs. So I kind of got off it today. If my husband goes to the shops, he goes to the shops. If something happens, something happens. But I can't just keep imagining worst case scenario. So yes, Nikki, embrace the now. There's nothing else I can do. This is the reality. I can only be in the moment of now, and I just have to really train myself to not go into those dark thoughts which aren't based on anything real right now. So just wanted to share a bit about where I've been with myself over the last 24 hours, and yeah, it's okay to be here. It's okay to be scared, and it's okay to be in this real state of fear, but it's also not okay to attach to it and just sink into that emotion and be there throughout this whole time. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. This is me taking deep breaths and doing my meditations and doing everything I've been telling you all to do, and just applying it to myself. So I will not be on tomorrow. Tomorrow is a very special day. We remember my extraordinary mother tomorrow. It's been 2 years. So I will be spending a day with my family, remembering the remarkable woman that was Wendy Seafor. And I hope you all light a candle tomorrow in memory of the light she brought to this world. And I will be back doing my live videos from next week. So I'm sending you huge, huge love from my heart to yours. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you next week.